Hello, Drag Collective fans, and welcome to another episode of our Featured Artist of the Month. This feature I'm going to love because they're one of my personal favorites. Please give a big hand for our January's featured artist, the Desire Twins. Please come on out.
Hello.
Hello, thank you so much. For the record, can you please introduce yourself to our audience here?
Well, hello. My name is Lucas Lazarus Drogo. You may have also known my sister Sakula Dix Lazarus. We are also known as the Desire Twins.
Okay, thank you for giving us your time today. I appreciate it.
Thank you for the interview.
All right, now, I have interviewed, as you've seen, several of our featured members. Can you please tell us what inspired the concept of the Desire Twins for us?
Oh, this little guy right here.
Oh, no, please, okay, you gotta show this, believe it or not, this is one of our fan favorites. Who is this delightful little creature?
This is Xerxes, my Central American bullet, and my son.
No, isn't he cute? And if you don't think he's cute, something's wrong with you. All right. So anyways, tell us more about how your child here inspired you.
Well, I've always had a deep love for snakes, and being a special effects artist, I've always been looking at different concepts for different characters and different outrageous looks. From what you can see, I'm obviously more on the punk rock side, but I also have an animal side.
Now, I'll be the first to admit, I don't know if you read the tribute, but I put down that you were a lover of reptiles. Now, do you have any other reptiles besides this one here?
I have my dragon Kraken, but he's pouting.
Okay, everyone knows pouty animals are never good.
Plus, he gets jealous of this one.
Ooh, civil rivalry?
Yep, sibling rivalry.
So, what made you decide to get into drag?
Well, I've seen, drag shows like Dragula. That one's my personal favorite. And I just love how the performers create these stunning pieces, the way they perform on stage. And I was like, I could do that. I would like to try that. I tried my first time at the Baby Ball back in 2019. That's where I first met you. And my drag sister and brother, Kyrian and Katerina Lazarus. And I've been into it ever since.
Because I gotta tell you, I've enjoyed watching your development from that first show to now, and it's been an amazing journey so far from what I've just seen. I mean, those of you who don't know, you've been known for some of your face makeup. Okay, I mean, I wish I could zoom in right now, but tell us how long it took for you to create what you're wearing right now.
The makeup takes me about 20 minutes. It's more or less it varies from if I'm wearing blind contacts or regular contacts, I'm wearing one of each. So it's a little bit harder to make sure my contour is on point because everything's got to be on point.
Of course.
For the scales, I use a fishnet wig cap, pull it over my face, can't really talk for a bit, and I'm just beat the face.
Because I've known you wearing contacts before. Is that one of your major looks that you like to pull off on stage?
Oh yes, I love wearing color contacts. It's always been one of my favorite things to wear, regardless if I'm doing drag or not.
Okay, any favorite color or style of contacts that you prefer?
I like the pure black sclera lenses where you look like a demon. That really tends to freak people out. This one is actually my favorite one. And then these ones, a little hard to see out of, but they definitely get a flare.
Now, for someone who wears contacts on stage, are they easy to wear or are they hard to wear?
It really just depends on how or what kind of brand of contacts you have. If it's a good brand, it'll sting at first, but you'll barely notice it's there. If it's a bad brand, you're going to want to gouge your eyeball out.
Now, have you had any problems with wearing contacts like that on stage?
It's mainly the blind contacts, because if you wear blind contacts, you can't see where you're going. I haven't had one fall out yet. I've had a couple that sting, and when it stings, your eyes tear up, and then you look like a hot mess.
Because I've never worn contacts. I know some performers do, so can you give some basic tips for like maintenance and care of your contacts before and after?
Make sure you always have contact solution. That's the main, the biggest tip you're ever going to get. Always have contact solution. If you have a lot, but you don't wear them as frequently as you would like a regular pair of contacts to see out of, you got to change your contact solution case every week or so to keep the contacts fresh. And every time you go to put them in, make sure your hands are clean and dry. Take out the contact, pour a little bit more contact solution in your hand, and kind of give it a quick wash, and then put it in your eye.
Now, do you have a favorite performance that you've done so far that you want to tell the audience?
Ooh. Hot Patootie back in 2020 at the Bell Star. That's when I had you be my stage assistant and
Oh my
you
God.
chased me off stage.
That was hilarious. I remember that, where I chased you off stage and you made that prop. For those of you who didn't see it or wasn't there, I was chasing her off stage. This was basically a tribute to the Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Yep.
And I was chasing her off stage with an axe.
That was one of my favorite. That was one of my favorite shows of all time.
I won't lie. I remember. I think it was. I can't remember if it was that same show or a different one at the Bell Star, where I just all of a sudden you were clicking that night. All cylinders. Everything was going right. I remember you getting on top of the pole, and I'm thanking Christina for that. All that little trouble. For that was last month's. If you haven't watched last month's featured artist, Christina was out there with the therapist, the actual pole that she has. But I remember that night very well because you were just like this whole other performer. Your confidence was just out there. You were clicking on all cylinders. I don't recall if you remember that night or not.
I do. That was a very interesting night, especially with who I took home that night.
And that's one of the good things. You keep what you kill. I'm just joking. Just joking.
I don't know. This one tends to eat. Eyeballs are his favorite.
Now, besides being a drag performer, one of the other things that I don't think our audience knows is you're an amazing artist. And I want to showcase one of the pieces that you made for me. And oh, by the way, I have not one but two pieces designed by this magnificent person. So when they become famous, I have not one but two original pieces. So suck it. Okay, here it is. I want you to see this beautiful, magnificent piece the Desire Twins here made for me. Can you tell the audience a little bit about this piece here?
I believe this was one of the first outfits I seen you perform in. I went through, I'm not gonna lie, I kind of stalked your Facebook profile, going through all your pictures, trying to find the one I thought.
Who doesn't lately?
I was just going through all your, this was hard to do because I couldn't decide which one I wanted to do.
Mhm.
So I seen you wear the gorgeous black dress, kind of bodysuit dress, and then gold roses. Had to include those.
Definitely.
And I also had included your fabulous face jewels as well.
Oh no, like I said, you're right up here and everything. And like I said, this is one of my, I keep this at home. This is actually above my TV in my room, right next to the other piece. And I'm not going to show that one because I only had time to bring one of them, and this is the one I chose. But you've done other pieces before,
Yes.
besides this one. Can you tell us about some of the other pieces that you've done?
Let's see, I made one for Christina, Christina Kondo, otherwise known as the Drag Chicken. I've done quite a few for for the Lazarus clan. Definitely a lot for Katarina. She has such an ego. As well as Kyrian. Who else? I've done one for Siren Songs. Working on a couple of secret ones. I'm not going to say on here because I want it to be a surprise.
Fair enough. Secrets, big reveals.
And I also just like to pick for fun.
Well, I know that there's two I'm going to bring up. First one, you did one for the Iron Phoenix here in Rapid City.
Yes. That one was a pain in the ass to do.
Oh, yeah. And then also, and I'm going to love to talk about this. We're going to try to keep this experience G-rated, but you made one for the people of Watertown Love.
Oh, yes, I remember that one. For Watertown, I created this kind of like rainbow-esque moon with the matching rainbow landscape or water. That one, I really didn't know what to use because for our other places, there's a specific theme, and because they're bars, you can go as X-rated as you can. But for this one, I wanted to keep it like keep it positive and also PG.
Okay. Speaking of PG, we gotta talk about the trip out to Watertown now. We'll exclude certain things because we want to try to keep the content at a certain level, okay? Tell me, did you enjoy going out to Watertown?
Oh, yes, I did.
Would you do that again? I mean, if, let's say, we were asked to go back out there, would you go?
Oh, yes, in a heartbeat. I love the people that we met in Watertown. They were absolutely amazing. The shows, I really enjoyed everyone. All of us have performed because we did 2 group numbers as well. We did, what was it, Lady Gaga's Born This Way?
Yep.
And then we did, wasn't it a Spice Girls song?
Yes!
We danced to the Spice Girls.
I'm embarrassed. Don't laugh, okay? I did.
You're
Honestly,
embarrassed.
just like you, I got a reputation to keep, okay? Yes, okay, first of all, we're not known for being bright and cheery. And here, we are out there giving it our all to a Spice Girls song, okay? Yes, let your imaginations process that, and while you're picking yourself off the floor from crying, you'll understand how funny it was, and we'll be the first to admit. But that trip was fun, because I remember it, we had the rain for our first set, the sun came out on the second set, and everyone loved you. There is no question. Like I said, we can't talk about everything that happened on the trip, because let's face it,
We don't want this video to get demonetized.
oh my God, would it ever. Needless to say, when you take 4 drag performers across the middle of South Dakota, things get rather amusing, to say the least. The one thing that I found the most hilarious that I can talk about on here was when we stopped off for lunch. And I'm the one driving, and I have you, Christina, and Sister Gay in the vehicle. And once again, we are going through the middle of South Dakota. What's in the middle of South Dakota? Nothing, okay? So I came up with an idea. Let's stop off at a small town, eat at a local place, and maybe scare a few of the locals. When I brought this idea up, it's not the fact that everyone said yes, it's how fast you all said yes that got my attention. Because here's what happened. I heard yes, yes, and yes like that, just that quick. So here we stop off in, I believe it was Miller, South Dakota.
Yeah, we stopped at a little pizza place called the Lunchbox.
Yep. And here's the funniest part. I mean, I could not make this up. The food was great. I want to stress, if they're watching, food was great. But it was owned by a lesbian couple.
Which was absolutely perfect.
It's like, what are the odds that this could happen in the middle of South Dakota? Well, before we wrap things up, do you have anything else you would like to add about, what you do on stage or what inspires you?
Definitely movie characters. Like, let's see, there's Dr. Frankenfurter. He's one of my main muses. Meatloaf or Eddie as well. I want to say a little bit of Rihanna in her darker days.
Ooh, rather interesting.
And other characters are a little bit too rated R to mention.
Okay, fair enough. We can't have our video demonetized too much.
Let's just say they're on a fabulous site that you have to be 18 to watch.
Fair enough, fair enough. Now, for your queen persona, I want to touch on that before we wrap things up. What were some of the things that made you decide to do a queen as well?
Well, I've always thought of, like, what would Lucas look like if he was a woman?
Mm-hmm.
I did not achieve that with Sakul, though.
Mm-hmm.
Sakul is, I want to say, like a succubus demon, almost, or a demoness. Mm-hmm. Just one that has such a drama queen attitude.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, me and Sakul do not get along. We do not. But she is good at what she does, and that is motorboating.
To be fair, yes, I've seen it happen numerous times. Well, so, Xerxes, do you want to say something before we go? I guess.
He's hiding.
He's hiding. All right. Well, I want to say thank you again for taking time out to do this interview. I know that certain people here are obviously wanting your time as just as much as me. And I know you're a busy person. Any final messages before we go?
Sorry, I had a blonde moment. If you see that gardener snake in your yard, leave them alone. They're not doing anything to hurt you. And also, if you by have a chance run by or go to one of our shows, don't be afraid to talk to us. We don't bite hard.
Well, thank you, Dread Collective fans. That's all the time we have for on this month's featured artist. We will see you next month in February. Bye-bye.
Xerxes, no, go into my shirt again.